This is an occasion to honor those who have served the children of our state, and there's no one more deserving of recognition by our association than Washington's Teacher of the Year and the 2013 National Teacher of the Year, Jeff Charbonneau. A teacher from Zillah, got it, High School in Zillah, Washington, Jeff is well qualified to provide remarks on the subject Schools of the 21st Century, How Far Have We Come? His examples of how schools in our state succeed with community involvement are trademarks for how he was selected as the 2013 National Teacher of the Year. He has been instrumental in creating a series of demanding science, technology, education, and mathematics offerings in the small town of Zillah, Washington. This year, students will be able to earn college credit in 4 of the classes he teaches, and most exciting of all, he has designed a robotic challenge which has served over 850 students from 43 school districts over the past 4 years. Wow. His innovative instruction and passion for teaching has dramatically improved children in science courses at Zillah. This year, over 60% of our juniors, listen to me, our juniors, I've just adopted your school. 60% of your juniors are registered for chemistry, and 1/3 of the seniors will take physics. Jeff is the type of individual who doesn't wait for things to happen. He makes things happen. Where's your wife and kids? Please join me in giving a warm Washington State PTA welcome for 2013 National Teacher of the Year, Jeff Charbonneau.
Standing ovation. Thank you very much. You haven't even heard me speak yet. No, my wife and kids are here, but the pool definitely trumps daddy, so they're down playing with that one. Thank you so very much for letting me be here. It's very near and dear to my heart because I did say that my first job is daddy. My son Andrew, he's 6. He started kindergarten for the first time this year. I'll tell you what, I've taught for 12 years. This is my 12th year. The first 11, I was disillusioned. I thought that I knew what it was like to be a parent. I've been teaching for 12 years. I got this down. And then my heart went to school. And I let my little baby go to somebody else for 7 or 8 hours a day. And all of a sudden, I started appreciating my parents, or the parents of my students, an awful lot more. So thank you to all of you for letting me teach your children. I appreciate it. So I am the National Teacher of the Year. You know, that doesn't mean I'm the best teacher. Not even close. I'm not even the best teacher in Washington State. I'm not the best teacher at Zillah High School. I'm not even the best teacher in my building, and there's only 2 of us in the building. But they did pick me for whatever reason. They went fishing. They found a fish. I'm a little one. Well, a little big. And I got selected to be National Teacher of the Year. I've been really thinking about why, and maybe I can share a little bit with that with you tonight. So the first 2 questions I normally get are, so where are you from? What do you teach? That little tiny town of Zillah, Washington. We're on the dry side of the state, over on the east side. Any east siders in the house tonight? There we go. All right. So if you do zoom in on the map, you go down towards Yakima, and eventually you find Zillah. We have an irrigation canal that runs just north of our town that feeds all of the wineries and all of the vineyards around us. 11 wineries within 4 miles. Not too shabby. So that's the easy question. Where are you from? I can answer that pretty quick. Takes a little descriptions, especially when I say we have 1 stoplight in our town. But it's a pretty easy thing to answer. You see, the harder questions come in with, what do you teach? Now that has 2 answers. The first answer is if I'm on an airplane heading to Washington, D.C., and I want to take a nap. Because the first answer is, I teach chemistry, physics, and engineering. Normally they say, oh. Great. Boy, you know, it's been a long day. I need a nap. But there are some really amazing things about chemistry and engineering and physics that I love to share with people. So for the next 4 hours, can we please sit back and enjoy the intricacies of wave particle duality and the electron cloud. Thank you very much. Yes, I teach STEM. What is STEM? Do we even really know? It stands for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. But do we really know what that means? Besides, I'm an assistant drama director. Where's the A? We do need to have the arts in there as well. It is STEAM. Don't get me wrong, I love my robots, but I love drama too. And hey, by the way, didn't we focus on reading for a while? What happened to that? Is that now not important? I don't even think it's a STEAM. Maybe it's a stream. I'm not really sure. By the time we're done tonight, maybe we'll just start singing the whole alphabet and realize that we're teaching children, not robots. So am I for STEM? Absolutely. Of course I am. I'm the Zillah Robot Challenge guy. But see, there's the trick. I'm not the guy. I'm the guy that has the microphone. I'm the guy that MCs it. Yes, the robots are in my classroom. Yes, they start out at Zillah High School. But the real work behind it is the Zillah Science Boosters, which is a parent organization that went out and fundraised with me, went out to area businesses and individuals and asked for support. And we went out and bought over 100 robot kits that we now send out for absolutely no charge to any school in Washington State. Public, private, alternative, homeschool, I don't care. If you're a kid and you want to play with robots, you give me a call. But it's not just me, it's my parents too. It's hard work. It's everything from going out and fundraising to literally putting the sandwiches together to wiping the nose on the kid that came in without a hanky. You've been there, you've done that. The parents are involved in the program just as much as I am, if not more. So when we look at the Robot Challenge, everybody wants to see a picture of the robot. They want to see the 53rd Explosive Ordnance Division of the U.S. military and their big bomb squad robot that they brought down and gave the controls to my high school teenagers. It's $1 million machine. Please don't break it. Went over and talked to the sergeant. I said, sir, you're giving the controls to a teenager. And he looks at me and says, we're the Army. We do that every day. Yes, sir. But there's something better there. It's not about the technology. It's not about the robot. It's about something very different. Will you please stop looking at the robot and look at the faces on the kids? I teach students. I do not teach robots. Those students are learning engineering. They're learning physics. They're learning electronics. But more important than that, they're learning confidence. Robotics is not something just for the nerds. We're pretty nerdy. We have fun doing it. But it's not just for them. Anybody can do this stuff. All you have to do is try. You look at the faces and you see something very much amazing. Very much amazing. I'm a teacher. Wow. You see something that's brilliant in those eyes. You see suddenly when it starts to click. You see young ladies who are not worried about science anymore. You see young men who are empowered. That's what we do at the Zillah Robot Challenge. To be honest with you, I could kind of care less about the robots. It's about the kids. So what do I teach? I teach confidence. I don't teach chemistry, physics, and engineering. I teach confidence in a student's ability. I teach confidence for students to know that they can and will achieve if they simply step up to the plate and try. So I look back at the class of 2005. These were my physics students. Please keep in mind at Zillah High School, there's only about 80 to 90 kids per grade. That was the physics class that senior year. I look back at that physics class and I picked them for a very specific reason, the class of 2005. They've been out for a while now. They're getting older, so am I. And I can see in there a pharmacist, 2 teachers, 3 nurses. And I think, wow, that's great as a science teacher, but I'm even more impressed by the musician who's published her own CD. I'm more impressed by the small business owners that are going out and cutting people's hair, their stylists. You see, I don't care if I create the next generation of scientists. I care that I create the next generation. That's what's most important. To do that, we need to make sure that students are self-sufficient. So I take students out into the middle of the Beartooth Mountains of Montana, 26 miles away from the nearest road. I take the high school principal's son, I put him on an 800-foot cliff, and I take a picture of it. Not the best career move. Never take evidence. but he learned to be self-sufficient. I did not do this alone. I did this with my parents, with parents that came and chaperoned. I had to have female chaperones on the trip. I'm a guy. I'm not going to deal with the girl issue of digging your own toilet. Not going to explain that one to them. So I needed to rely on several parents to go with us. We went into the Beartooth Mountains, 26 miles away from the nearest road, carrying your own food, making sure your blisters are taken care of on your feet. You have to be self-sufficient. You have to make sure that you know how to take care of yourself. And most importantly is that you have to be self-sufficient so that your group's sufficient. Because there are other people that rely on you too. In work and in school, is group work important? Yes, but ultimately speaking, you have to be self-sufficient to be group sufficient. That's what I teach. I teach courage. As the assistant drama director, I have a lot of students that come to me absolutely terrified of speaking in public. They may come to me as freshmen saying, if they do it that loudly. And I say, you know what, let's give this a shot. Let's go on stage. Let's try. Maybe, just maybe, you'll get hooked and you'll love it. And the next thing you know, it's Prince Charming singing on stage. You see, it's about inspiring students, giving them the courage to succeed, giving them the courage to go into quantum mechanics or onto the stage and trying. Zillah High School, 400 students in our high school. That's our drama department. We're actually larger than the football team. And you should see our dance moves, way smoother, way better dancers. But we didn't do it alone. I've got Larry and Linda Heemstra, parents that belong to L&L Construction. They're their own independent contractors. They come in and help build the set. We've got parents helping us with the programs. We've got parents helping us sewing like crazy. We don't buy our costumes, we make them. I really shouldn't say we. I've never sewn anything in my life. But we make them as a group. You see, it's about instilling that hope and instilling the courage in students to achieve any dream that they want. I think of my own son and his t-ball games. People ask me, since I was a former baseball coach, is your son going to play baseball? Boy, I hope he does, but you know what? I'm just as happy if he joins the ballet. I don't care what he does as long as he does something. And whatever it is that he does, I hope that he loves it. And I hope that he excels at it to his ability. That's what I teach. And I teach about legacy. When you think of quantum mechanics, you instantly think that guy must also be in charge of the yearbook. And I am. So I had my students go back through all of our yearbooks all the way back to 1919. That was our very first AWEGO yearbook. AWEGO is a contraction for On We Go. And we looked at those AWEGO yearbooks, and we saw in them the faces of former students. We saw in them what our high school looked like. We saw the same issues and the same struggles that my students have now. You see, there are social disparities amongst every generation. It might not have been social media back then, passing a note in the hallway maybe, I'm not sure, probably not Twitter blowing up that night. But that class of 1919, look in their faces, see the hopes, see the dreams. Just as my students have those same hopes and dreams. My students scanned every single page of every single book and we posted it online so that people can go back and they can see that legacy and they can learn from it. There's a huge problem with that. I graduated from Zillah High School in 1996. Unfortunately, this picture is now freely available on the internet. Go to zhsowego.com. Click on 1996, there I am. I don't have any explanation for the brown leather vest. My mom bought it for me. I mean, this is true. This is true. Sad part is it's still in my closet. But there's a legacy there. A legacy of bad choices that I want to make sure that my students do not repeat, and so that they can learn from it. That's what I teach. And I teach about citizenship. Yes, I'm the ASB advisor as well. It's 400 students in our high school. Somebody's got to do it. So we go out just like Mr. Miyagi and I have them paint the fence. And we go out and we dress up the school and we realize that sometimes in order to have a paradise, you need to put a paint job on it. Sometimes you have to put in a little bit of effort in order to make something magical and make something beautiful. That's what I teach. To the Zillah High School students, to my family, that's what I try to get across. Boy, it sounds like rainbows and ponies, doesn't it? Zillah is this amazing place where nothing goes wrong. Except for today, 5th period. You see, there's another thing to learn. That really what I'm teaching my students is so much more than all of that. It really boils down to one thing. The same thing that you teach your children is the same thing that I continue to try to teach your children. And that's to overcome obstacles. You see, there are obstacles in our way, and there are things in our life that do not go the way that we want them to go. And we have two choices. Stop, sit down, and wait for somebody else to take care of it. Or get up and find a way around it or over it. That's what I teach. You see, the other side of Zillah High School that doesn't look quite as nice is that we have a few of our own obstacles. We're 50% free and reduced lunch. Now, I know that there are schools where the percentages are way higher, but to me, 50% free and reduced is way too high. 5% is way too high. 1% is too high. Half of my students cannot afford free lunches. Excuse me, they can afford free lunches. They can't afford lunch. We're a minority-majority high school. I don't know why that matters, and that's the problem. The problem is that that matters to some people, that that's an obstacle to overcome. We're a rural, agricultural community, so there's no way that we can possibly offer the same services as some of the larger schools. Not true, but that's an obstacle that we have to overcome. And if you go onto the OSPI's website, and you look for funding for school districts, and you sort it by the amount of dollars you get per kid, we're 9th from the bottom. We have very low funding. And yet, we have a 96.8% graduation rate. It's been above 95% for 5 years straight. I think it's awesome, but I am not giving up on the final 3.2. Absolutely not. We still got to get to 100. There is still room for improvement. We offer 69 college credits on our campus without leaving our school. My classes alone, you can earn 24 college credits in just my classes. Next year, our school will be up to 74 college credits as we add an additional 5 for one of our history courses. Not quite, but almost an AA without leaving our campus. And we're a 400-person public school. In 2012, every single senior at Zillah High School graduated. No senior was denied a diploma because of state testing. They either passed the HISP or its equivalent by scoring high enough on the ACT or SAT test. Every single senior. You can succeed. There are ways around these obstacles. And most of you in this room are doing the work for us. And I applaud you for that. You see, when you finally get down to it and you ask the question one last time, what do I teach? It's not an I. It's really not. It's a we statement. There's so much more there. I do teach to students of all backgrounds, of all abilities, to be successful absolutely no matter the circumstance. Because that's what I've been asked to do. But in reality, I am absolutely not alone. There are so many quality educators in our state, and there are so many quality parents around, and so many quality administrators that are doing the work that needs to be done. It's time for us to recognize that. You see, public education, I think, is Mount Rainier. How many of you can see Rainier, at least at some point in the time during your day? Many hands in the room. When's the last time you stopped again and saw it for the first time? When's the last time you stopped and your breath was taken by the majesty of that mountain? When's the last time you stared at those glaciers and you stared at the trees and you didn't see the potholes on the way there? You see, the road to paradise of Mount Rainier has lots of potholes. There's an awful lot of snow in the winter that decimates that road. And sometimes when we go back to Rainier, all we see is the potholes. And we forget about the mountain. That's education in the United States of America. It is so unbelievably beautiful. If you look at it at a global level, at what we do, we teach absolutely all students of all abilities to be successful. Are there roadblocks? Are there potholes? Absolutely. And some of them are pretty darn big. DOT needs to get on it. But we are succeeding, aren't we? If we really look at it and we really look at what education has done for ourselves and for our own children, there's a lot more success there than otherwise has been seen. So please, if you take one thing from me tonight, take this. We are the American Public Schools. We work as one. We are a team. We are parents. We are teachers. We are administrators. We work as one group, one unified voice for our children. And I'll tell you what, as the American Public Schools, we are absolutely, absolutely succeeding. Thank you so very much, Washington State PTA, for allowing me to talk with you tonight. I appreciate it. Thank you.